Today on the CTV News at 5, cleanup in Cardston. A storm causes massive flooding in the communities downtown. Plus, more search delays, why rescue crews can't get to a truck believed to be involved in two men's disappearance. And hundreds turn out for the annual Cardston Kids Marathon.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. The community of Cardston got hammered last night by all that rain and hail that came with the storm. We're going to get more on that story in just a moment from Terry Vogt. But first, all this wet weather is creating more delays in the search for two men missing in the East Kootenay. A high stream flow advisory has now been issued for the area. Stephen Thompson and Nicholas Huffnagels were camping with friends near Canal Flats on June the 8th. Thompson is from the area. Huffnagels is from Cochrane. The 18-year-old and 21-year-old went to go to town but never made it. The truck has now been located here in Finley Creek Falls by Swift Water Rescue technicians. It is fully submerged and appears badly damaged, but the water is moving too quickly for searchers to safely enter it. It appears the two men went over an embankment on the Finley Creek Road. Search efforts have been ongoing as conditions permit.
Off the phone with some hydrology experts. The water level is at highest in June and lowest in March. So we're going to have to work around that, and weather, of course, is a factor. We've had a heavy rains this morning. There's rains expected during the week, and that'll only raise the water level, but also the increase the amount of runoff, which will increase the amount of sediment in the water, and the visibility is reduced.
Right now, the water in the creek is flowing at a rate of 50 to 80 cubic meters per second, and the velocity is likely to rise with the heavy rainfall in the forecast. Several businesses in Cardston are cleaning up after an intense spring rainstorm flooded Main Street. It happened Tuesday night, a storm that brought pea-sized hail and heavy rain, so much rain in such a short time that it overloaded the storm sewer system. As Terry Vogt reports, town officials are already promising to take a serious look at upgrading the infrastructure.
The craft and quilt shop in downtown Cardston has a sopping wet floor, but it could have been a lot worse, according to Zenith Gaynor.
We came down to check it out. We opened the door. It was just a little bit in the entryway, so we were really lucky.
Lucky compared to some of the businesses across the street. Ming's restaurant was closed. Instead of customers, the place was filled with fans trying to dry out the carpet. At the Sears store next door, more of the same.
Everything flows downhill from west to east in Cardston, and it all ends up in the system, and it overwhelms the drainage system right down in the area of Main Street.
Crews were on standby and responded quickly. A fire truck was even pumping water off the street, but there was so much rain in such a short period of time that they couldn't possibly keep up. This car provides a pretty good indication of just how high the water got during the storm. It was parked here. The water line is still visible.
We, phoned to have the police come stop the vehicles from driving through the water, which was kind of creating a tsunami and making it worse for the businesses.
Many of the business owners say they don't have insurance to cover this kind of flooding. The town says it knows there's a problem with drainage here. They say they're going to take a very serious look and see what they can do in the way of an infrastructure makeover, fixing the problem if it's at all affordable. Terry Vogt, CTV News, Cardston.
The town has already notified Alberta disaster officials. They say it could be several days before they know the total damage. Okay, Dory, it looks like the sunshine is really going to lock in tomorrow. Finally, some dry weather.
Yeah. It is for areas in the extreme southern part of the province and the extreme north. Are looking at a few days of sunshine starting tomorrow. Here in Lethridge, we have a chance of a late day shower, just leftover instability. But the Calgary area, it might take until Sunday before sunshine really makes an appearance there because of a bit of a squeeze play. And I'll explain that coming up in a couple of minutes.
All right. Thank you, Dory. RCMP have laid a charge against a southern Alberta man after a livestock feed company was defrauded of almost $1 million. 49-year-old Jeffrey McNain from Staveley is charged with fraud, theft, and forgery. McNain is alleged to have defrauded Unifeed Limited through his own company, McNain Land and Cattle Limited. It's believed that he sold cattle to both Canada and the United States while pocketing all the proceeds from the sale. McNain will make his first court appearance in Edmonton in August. It's an annual tradition in Lethbridge, but this year it's got a bit more girl power to it. This is Lethbridge's very first women's-only Habitat for Humanity build. About a dozen gals volunteered to pick up hammers, nails, and drills for the two-day event. The group comes with varying levels of expertise in manual labor. Organizers say it's a great way for women to get out of their comfort zone while helping out a good cause.
This is a trade that's predominantly dominated by men, so it's nice for the women to have a chance to come out and build with other women and, you know, learn a few skills they maybe didn't have before, or maybe share a few skills they've already got with some other women.
It's the community we live in, so giving back to the people in our own town is just as important as helping those in other countries. So.
The home you just saw being built is for a single mom and her 2 children. People from Brazil, including some here in southern Alberta, have hit the streets for a second night in a row of anti-government protests. About 50,000 people flooded into a square in São Paulo, the country's biggest city. The protesters are frustrated by high taxes and what they call the shoddy state of public services. The anger in Brazil is spilling over to other cities around the world, including Lethbridge. More than a dozen students from Brazil staged a small protest at the University of Lethbridge yesterday. There are currently 13 students from Brazil attending the U of L. The students say countries like Canada are an inspiration to them. Larger demonstrations are also being held in Toronto, Montreal, and other cities.
Even if we are far, we support the manifest in Brazil. There are basic things for human life that needs to be improved, like health, education. It's the base for everything, and it needs to get better.
Currently, there are lots of students around the world, in Europe, Asia, and here in Canada, and we'd like to support this. Like, we cannot stay there and help them there, but we'd like to show that we support Brazil.
Native culture was on display in a big way last night. The event showcased the talents of Lethbridge's First Nations, Métis, and Inuit artists. Performances included spoken word, visual arts, and performing arts, including hand drums, traditional song, and dances. Organizers of the First Nations event and the week say it's important to keep their traditions alive and sharing them with the community.
I am very proud to be Blackfoot, especially a Blackfoot Aboriginal woman from Lethbridge. We are developing great programs. This is just one of the events that we showcase throughout the year, and I'm really proud that we've had such a great turnout. Both urban and non-native individuals have come to showcase their art.
As we open up ourselves and asking the other community to become aware of who we are, I have found over this last year that it's really exploded, and that the cultures are really able to blend together and be more accepting of each other, because we all are here. We're never going to go anywhere. You know, we all share this space.
It's a sure sign summer is here. Exhibition Park in downtown Lethbridge are once again launching the Downtown Farmers Market. The market is now in its 7th year, offering homemade, homegrown, and home-baked goods. To date, there are 23 registered vendors, 7 of which are new to the market, and there's still time to add more.
It's a social event versus just coming and buying groceries. You go to grocery stores to buy groceries. You don't necessarily go to socialize. And our markets, and this one downtown here at the BRZ, is becoming a social event too, because people come, they'll have a coffee and go into the Galt Gardens and chat them up for somebody that maybe they haven't seen for a couple of weeks or something.
The farmers market is open from 10 until 3 every Wednesday, starting next week. Get ready for some cute animal video with a good cause. This is the most popular part of the Birds of Prey Center, and you can see why. The ducks are friendly and very lively. And thanks to ATB, there is no longer a fear of flooding in their home. The upgrades cost in the neighborhood of $25,000. Colin Weir from the center presented ATB CEO Dave Mowat with a hand-engraved plaque to show their appreciation. Mowat then gave Weir the surprise of a lifetime. You can see the look on Weir's face as the center was given a brand new truck. The upgrades should help the center for years to come.
This area used to flood quite a bit. It wasn't really all-weather accessible, and it needed about a $25,000 upgrade. There's a lot of work that went into it, and thanks to ATB Financial, it can be enjoyed virtually every day of the year now, regardless of the weather.
Writing a check is an important part of it for sure, but even our staff like to get involved. They come and rake leaves every year to clean the place up, and I think it gives them a sense of ownership, and that's what it's all about.
The Alberta Birds of Prey Centre is the largest facility of its kind in Canada. More than 1,600 people gathered in Cardston today for the annual Cardston Kids Marathon to celebrate healthy living. Hundreds of students in Cardston have been keeping track of their footsteps over the past 8 weeks. The goal, to walk 25 miles during that time. And today, they walked the last mile and a half of their marathon with friends, parents, and grandparents. The event was started 5 years ago by Dwayne and Patricia Biesler as a way to improve their own health and inspire their children.
We really wanted our kids to have a healthier life, and healthier choices come a little bit at a time, not Herculean efforts. It's really little steps. I mean, they all get pedometers and they keep track of their miles, and we know if we keep track, we do better in everything. And so I think it's just so important that they learn good skills at a young age.
We spend so much money on health dollars and things like that, but if we prevent it by being active, then we don't have to spend all the money that way. It's huge.
If you add up all the numbers, the 1,600 participants have walked or run about 40,000 miles in the last 2 months. Straight ahead, Dory's going to tell us about when that sunshine will finally arrive. First, though, here are the day's markets.